Welcome back to this week's episode of Ask Me How I Know, the podcast where I tell you exactly how I know that healing is possible, magic is real, and love is the answer. And this week's episode is very, very special. Notice how I really nailed that intro. You know why? Because I'm excited. I'm excited because this week I have my first guest on the show, and that is my best friend, Erica Diane, is joining us today, also known as Homegirl Oracle, your favorite but my bestest. And Erica is joining us today so that we can tap into some of the magic that we embody in this work. And, the healing piece I discuss every week. The magic is real component of this is what I want to focus on this week. And we have a really amazing show in store for you. And it all started because I got a French manicure. But before I go any further, I want to give you the opportunity to say hello to the people. Erica, say hi, introduce yourself.
Hi, people. I'm giddy because we've been talking about this for years.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah.
I'm Erica Diane, at Homegirl Oracle with the 0. I have been blessed to do this walk of this life with Ebony for the last almost 10 years, where to me personally in my life, it just got real good. And all of becoming Ebony's friend and being in her world, you know how you get people in your life that serve as validation and confirmation of oh yeah, no, that's why that's happening. That's what I believe our friendship has been. And it has served as a catalyst for many lifetimes that we've both experienced together. It has served as a catalyst for trusting and even the Homegirl Oracle existing, because we both have similar backgrounds in Southern Baptism, Baptist spaces that, we shouldn't even be on a microphone right now. Don't let them find out. I think, I in my day life, I am a digital mastermind. I love social media for other people. I'm working on loving it for myself. But I also am a reader, tarot reader, astrologer, nail reader, if you will, which is what we're going to get into today, or Onycomancy, which is an aspect of palmistry that focuses on nails and fingers, that has been really, really catapulted by this young woman named at Kiki Mancy on, I believe, what is formerly known as Twitter. But yeah, a lot of the dabbling in my world has come in the world of magic, in the world of spirituality, has come from my friendship and partnership and my asexual life partner, Ebony.
Yes. Hi, friend.
Friend, we gonna do it.
We're going to do the thing, y'all.
All right.
We are going to try really hard to stay on the rails in this conversation, but I want you to understand that what you are witnessing is a conversation between best friends who have been, the 13 lives that I have lived in the past 10 years. Erica has been present for them, and vice versa. So I want to try to stay on the rails, but when we have conversations as best friends, there's a tendency for us to do things like complete each other's sentences, do hot tangents with one another, to astrally project into another multiverse in discussions, to switch in between accents and affect and language, and go from a belly laugh to a cackle to a cry. That is what can happen when we are together. And so one of the things, if you're watching this episode on Spotify or YouTube, you can see that one of the things that I said before, I was like, okay, friend, so when I edit, it's hard to do that if we're talking at the same time. So this is new for us.
We're trying a new thing.
We are trying a new thing so that you can follow along in this discussion. So just strap in, tap in, turn it up, and hear us in this message that we have for today. And we're going to try to make it make sense. And what we will do is have fun. So whether or not you're having a good time is what we're concerned about, but we know we're going to be all right. So
we hope you can get you some joy out of this, because there's been a 45-minute thing before she hit record.
Yeah,
So,
the pre-show was all the things
oh,
that
child.
cannot be said. You know what I mean? We had to run down, had to get it out of our system. And then there was also the preamble to the pre-show, which was when I called you um at 6 o'clock and said, do you want to record tonight? Because I just left the nail shop and I have notes. And this is how we got here, because one of the things that I say this all the time when I'm talking about I'm like, she's a whole medium. So I understand that, the tools that you use include tarot and astrology, and onycomancy, but all of that is kind of like a culmination of your intuitive self and your intuitive being, which is how we arrived at this place of Homegirl Oracle. Because, and you came up with that name, which is like the most brilliant thing, that is like the best distillation of the essence of Erica that I could think of, is Homegirl Oracle. And then also with the 0 replacing the O in Oracle, not just for like social media naming purposes, but the significance of 0. Will you say a little bit more about how you came to choose that name and what the 0 means, why it's important?
Yes. So, first of all, y'all gonna deal with this love fest that we have. That's what you gonna do. Cause when you see me sitting here, I'm physically sweating because like while she's hyping me up, she does this. And I know y'all know she does this because you've been here at Ask Me How I Know for a while now. The hype up is so beautiful, but also again, you can, when you have people in your world who see you, projector, and support you and can see the gifts that you have, even if people have tried to snuff it out, it makes it possible for what's possible in you to thrive. And so to that, I'm like just sitting here like same, 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 same. But Homegirl Oracle came about because there's so much in the ethers. We have been swindled. We have been, and I say we, both of us, in the ethers, in the astrales, in the social media scapes. There are so many people that say they do this, that say that they have a spiritual praxis, that say that they can read, that they're a medium. Yeah, you can be spiritual, so are demons. So
Mm.
what are you allowing into your world? And it's the spiritual space can be so deeply predatory. And one of the things that I came to with Homegirl Oracle and choosing 0 is because 0 is like the beginning. It's victory. It's infinite. It is when I think of like the world card, I think of, that's why I have like the Wheel of Fortune. It's always a 0. It's always O, and 000 or 0 4 times means divine divinity in victory. And so when you see the Olympian symbol, when you see Audi, like this stuff is on purpose. These people do numerology. These entities, these corporations, they do this. JP Morgan is on record in a court docket stating that millionaires do not have astrologers, billionaires do. And so it's very clear that folks are using this to whatever degree for their success. And there's actually something to this as to why Ebony's intro is what it is, because magic is real. The spiritual realm is real, and Homegirl Oracle was born because of a lot of things that I have endured. I've watched her endure, our other loved ones in space, getting weird readings where they pull you for more. Well, I can clear this for you for egregious amount of dollars. Where
I'll tell you
I
about a time. I'll tell you about a time I was almost got in North Hollywood because I was where I wasn't supposed to be. We can't tell that story
just
without.
what I know, because I was like, I can pull up. We can pull up and go figure it out. Cause what do you mean? It's so difficult because when people get to this point where they're willing to dabble back into spirituality due to the way that sometimes religion can be so harmful, and we know it to be steeped in settler colonialism, which seldom has our liberation and our best interest in the center. It's usually about exploiting and extracting and continually breaking the spirit. Homegirl Oracle was born because I am everybody's homegirl. I might listen.
He's the
Now I might
best.
not, I don't think that I'm not. I know I'm not sometimes. Like, but I have realized that how I don't know a stranger. You can ask Ebony. Don't go nowhere with me in public. Cause somehow, some way, somebody gonna pull up, and now I'm reading fingers. Now I'm talking numerology. Now I'm telling them who's around them, and it's like we can't get through a lunch without 4 people coming. Do you remember that time at Imbibe when that man just sat next to us and treated us like an altar and laid every burden down?
I do. This is, she's not wrong, y'all. Like, I mean, the two
I
of
know.
us in public spaces can be a lot, energetically. And I think that that has a lot to do with like the aura and the spirit that we carry just in who we are as individuals. And so then when both of us are together kind of in space at the same time, that squares the aura, and then it's amplified in space. And this is true with your individual light. We learned this in Sedona over the 22222 portal. We went to Sedona for the portal and went on a vortex hike and got our whole lives together. But also in that energy space, we learned about the 9-foot radius of our energetic force fields and our boundaries, right? And so we were able to kind of tap into that in a really fun and exciting and tangible way. And then we really started to notice that when we were in spaces together, it was just kind of like emanating energy. And like with any light, the same thing is true for each of you listening, but like with any light, some people will be attracted to it and some people will be repelled by it. So learning how to navigate and create boundaries and buffers for that is how Eric and I have survived sometimes very dangerous situations.
We'll talk about that one time that I walked into a group of men and told them how they had me messed up. I'm a
Yeah.
little crazy sometimes. But Homegirl and all this, and see, this is what we mean by the roundabout tangents. So this is why Homegirl Oracle was born, because I had struggled with like roses and peridot, which is, and I call it peridot, it's peridot. I'm sorry, y'all. In honor of my grandmother, she loved roses. She called all of her loves, all of her grandchildren roses, and she was, of course, a Queen Virgo. So peridot is her birthstone. So I had originally been roses and peridot, and then now being Homegirl Oracle and knowing that I wanted to be a safe space specifically for brown and black women, emphasis on black women, to be able to come and land and figure out some things without feeling extracted from, without feeling played, without feeling like, oh, I got to give you my last, and I know I have these bills, but maybe that'll heal this. Or we have seen it play out in such a way where it's been so much more harm in these spaces where the intersection of readings, intuition, discernment, and capitalism exists. When the gag is like, all I'm gonna do is just confirm some things for you. I'm gonna just tell you some things that you already know, and it's gonna freak you out because I'm gonna tell you what your room looked like. I can't help it. Like, I'm gonna tell you what your granddaddy looked like before. Remember that time I told that lady about her granddaddy's 2 different colored eyes and she left the building?
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
it was a day. It was quite a time. And I'm not saying I'm out here scaring people. These were, and also working in reciprocity, working in permission,
Yeah.
working in, that is really important with Hunger Oracle. I'm new to like the social media scene. I'm blessed to be known in community. I'm blessed to be known. I'm blessed to be known in community, and I'm blessed to be known in the spaces and people that know to do word of mouth with me. Yeah, the zero in Oracle exists because like, just like, it's your magic is infinity. Your spirit is going to continue living after this flesh. Like there's something about your essence that is infinity, and that's what's captured in that zero. And we've never, I've told you that, but I've never said that out. So that's wonderful.
This
Let's
is
jump into Onycomancy because your nails are still
No, we're not skipping something. Hold on, we gotta stop. Hold on, wait.
okay.
We're not I'm
Sorry,
not there yet.
sorry,
I wanna
sorry,
I wanna go
sorry.
to
Yes.
go back to the scammers, which you did not name explicitly and that was very kind of you to do that. But I want to talk about like something that comes up along our healing journeys is where you can fall to predators. And, the healing process in and of itself can be a very isolating and lonely one. There can be moments when you're in transformation, in transition, where you're like, what am I doing? This shit isn't working. I hate it here. Everything sucks. I don't even want I don't want any of this, right? And in those moments, somebody hops into your DMs talking about they have a message from your ancestors. And if you just give me this much money, I will tell you what your ancestors said. And I hope that now, I think over the past 5 years, we've seen like some pretty extreme cases of people being taken advantage of in the digital and social media space. But also, I think it's important to note for the younger folks coming up who perhaps don't have the wisdom of experience, and people who are at maybe earlier stages in their healing journey, to really avoid that kind of charlatan behavior that feels like manipulative and extractive and is coming to see you in vulnerability, and it is asking you to seek outside of yourself to be fixed, because you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. If your ancestors have a message for you, they gave it to you. It's for you. And not everybody's ancestors, not everybody has the access to that yet, because we have blocks and protectors that are in place to prevent us and to protect us from that kind of violation spiritually. So when we're talking about magic being real, I'm talking about the magic that is inside of us innately. And one of the things that I hear you talking about, or that comes up for me when I hear you talk about the zero, is like the primordial womb, like the place from which all things are birthed.
She's also a double Cancerian, where the fourth house is ruled by the Cancerian in astrology. And
thank you.
there are reasons why the zero exists. But primordial room, shout out to Colin of Queer Cosmos. We will say that name.
Hey,
Who
Colin
is
Bedell.
literally named Colin Bladell. You know we love you. A beautiful part of Coven, where he was cackling with us one day, talking about cardinal air and cardinal water. This planet cannot exist without it. And I am cardinal water. She is cardinal air. And there's never been a louder truth. And
Yeah.
again, the womb is where we all come from. It's your original portal. And being double Cancerian, I also in my day job do reproductive justice work, where bodily autonomy and self-sovereignty and being a sole provider for yourself sometimes, or as a sole provider for my children, as I've seen Ed be a sole provider in her world as a caregiver. The zero really comes from what I have seen Black women birth.
Mm-hmm.
What I have seen, and I don't mean bodies, I mean magic, I mean
Movements.
purpose, I mean movements, I mean resurrection, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean what we are capable of as portals. And it means, and a lot of times I'm also a 12th houser. I'm telling a lot of my business, and a lot of y'all are going to be able to figure some things.
What does that mean? What does it mean to be a 12th houser?
It means, so in astrology, there are 12 houses. Think of it like a clock, if you will, and think of it just like a circle. There are 12 houses. The 12th house is the God house. It is the subconscious. It is the underworld. It is what is happening behind the scenes. Sometimes people relegate it to the terms of hell. The 12th house is where things sprout. It's where if you are gardening and you plant your seed and your seed gets to that point of death, which means life next, that's the 12th house.
The underworld.
The underworld, very literally, where the unseen is birthed. That is the house that I come from, very literally. And so that's another reason the zero is there, because again, we like Ebony was saying, a lot of times when you are vulnerable, I'm so grateful to the people, our loved ones, Padrino, to the people that brought me there. Like my Vita, shout out to her, Almighty Pineapple, shout out to our Padrino, our Elay, shout out to, like, I'm going to say, hell, Tatiana, like Tarot, like there are people that have gotten me to this point in my space because they were safe people enough to hold my things and to help me see what it was. Because a lot of times when you're in that vulnerable space is where people really give up. And again, in my day world, reproductive justice, y'all are going to be like, oh my God, girl, shut up. What don't you do? But there's also a whole TED talk on suicide prevention, because I was blessed to do, because when you get to certain places, specifically in this realm, which can be so harsh, this realm, if you look at any of the people that study extraterrestrial stuff, and not even, just do your own studies, do your own Googles. this realm is hard, and it's hard for anybody living at any intersection that's not in the one percenters. And so a lot of times when people are met at certain intersections and crossroads, it's very literally life or death. And I've been very blessed to have people speak life into me. I've been very blessed to have people say what they see for me with love, without extracting, without breaking my pockets down, without, I saw this, but in order to open your Akashic records, I'm gonna need 2K. Just there's a lot of, when you're vulnerable, people can see that and become predatory. And I want it to be known that in the work that I do, from the actual knowledge that I have, and as you can see from behind me, I do this, and it's something that I love. And one of the things that I love the most is being able to help people from this vulnerable space of the brink, to bring them back and say, but there's more life, and it comes from you. So that's where Homegirl Oracle is born.
Yeah, my friend is fly. And one of the things that it's interesting, because as I'm listening to watching you talk about this, I'm like, the wands are not on today. The wands are not present today, but don't let that fool you. Sometimes we have to come out of our wands. And when I'm
Yeah.
saying wands, I'm talking about our fingernails. I have a quick tarot tangent that I want to go on to bring this back to why we even call our fingernails wands. That will bring us a little bit closer to where I'm going next. So come with
It's
me
all
here.
connected. It's all
So
connected.
in the tarot, if you are not familiar with tarot, there are major arcana, which are kind of like the court cards that represent a journey, a fool's journey from 0 to 21 of all of the different archetypes and arcana, or the archetypes that one might encounter on a journey to completion or being made whole. So it goes from the 0 to the world in this very circular place. You have all these amazing characters that exist that tell the story of personal transformation, growth, life, death, all these things. The other cards are represented in 4 suits. We have pentacles, or coins or discs, that represent the element of earth. Then we have swords that represent the element of air, and intellect, intuition. Erica does not like swords. I am the queen of swords. Erica does not like swords. Then there are cups. And cups, Erica really does like, because she, being the Cancerian that she is, it's water. And water is the earth element of cups, and it also represents our emotions, the maternal element of things. And then there are the wands. The wands are the element of fire. And if you can imagine a magician, with their wand or with their tool, it is very much fire and action, verb, manifestation, and making things happen. So one of the things that has been, since I first met Erica, her fingernails, my God, I'm talking about the most amazing sculpted acrylic gel tips, unique designs, colors, fly, freshness, the click clacks, clacking, the grabbers, whatever you call them. Like, okay, that's my friend, y'all. And so as a Black girl, our nails are a part of, it's a part of our aesthetic, a part of how we groom and adorn ourselves. Culturally speaking, it comes along with a lot of symbolism, from length, style, color, cost, shape. All of these things have been something that is highly coded in the social construct of Black femininity and Black woman identity, all the way back from Revlon nail polish to Lee press on nails to the salons. Okay. We are deep in these streets. So while the young girls are out here with their duckbill tips, we see you, young lady, but I need you to understand that we used crazy glue so that you could walk. We crawled with crazy glue and stuck our nails together. Our thumb to the index finger stuck together, and
There
had
is
to
not
rip it apart.
partial. There's no. When I do a fingerprint, it's a little messed up because of the press on glue I was tampering with when I was 8. I learned chemistry behind nails. I didn't mean to be that close. I learned chemistry because of nails. Because when I was putting my press-ons before church, just being since I was 8, I have loved nails. And I remember figuring out chemistry because the acetone ate my nail off.
Mm.
And I ain't had no more thumbs. So
We had no business,
no
okay?
business.
We had no
And
business,
what I'm
but
looking for, what you're watching me fidget for, I saved one of my nails from my last job when I went into the field. I didn't know we were going to do this and I can't find it right now. And this is actually, I took my nails off yesterday.
why
And
did you save a nail?
it's the set that took us to Arizona.
Oh, okay. Okay. My bad.
Yeah. So I
Yes,
saved
that's
it
important.
because
A keepsake.
it's a keepsake. And it's also it's like this airy lilac blue purple with the sun on it.
Mm.
And it was on my thumb. And I remember finding it and I was like, because you know me, I have a hard time letting stuff go. So it's in here somewhere and I was looking for it. But it's crazy that we're doing this today because one, I have that little keepsake. And two, because again, healing is possible, magic is real, and love is the answer. And in that time frame of my life, those nails reminded me that magic is real, y'all. Like, magic is real. If I tell you about my last 4 months, that's a different podcast. But in and of itself, I'm looking for nails, and this is the first time I haven't had my wands on. And yeah, it's the first time. This is the first time since probably my birthday I haven't had nails on.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
July.
but sometimes you have to take a break.
You do. No, and
Sometimes
no,
we
you're
have to take
right.
a break.
I'm also gonna go
You
see
know,
our guy on
you gotta let him,
Monday.
yeah, you gotta let him breathe. Also, you have to let them breathe before you go back for another full set because it's very tender. You gotta give your nails some time to let your nail beds build themselves back up before you go back in. You can't just like take off one set and pop
Really?
on another set. Just, a little bit of nail girl hygiene here. You need to take off the set, sis, and get a new set. Not every time, but usually every 3 months, you should get a new set. You should start over and not just continue to build up and compound old product on your nails repeatedly, just for a lot of different reasons, I'm saying. So that's something to consider. It's gross. Bacteria can get underneath the nail. You're not really keeping, it's okay. Just let it go. Let it breathe. Take breaks. Okay. But
Down to the hands.
the wands,
The wands, friend.
the wands,
The wands.
and the element of fire.
Yes.
Thinking of what we use wands for manifestation, for calling in. When we think about our hands and what we do with our hands, from harvesting to making to nurturing to rubbing to moisturizing to fixing and doing and being, the nails are significant in a lot of different ways. And I'm going to say this because I understand that there are some people have very visceral reactions to conversations like this one because they do not have a personal relationship where they value such things as nails, or they look at it as an expense of that you're being frivolous, that it's unnecessary, it's chemicals, it's why would you do that to yourself, and it's not important, and how do you wipe your ass, and all the really derogatory things that people say that really just kind of speaks to their own judgments. This episode may not be for you. I don't know. We're going to talk about how y'all projecting your parts around that is actually weird. And you might not want to continue to do that, or maybe get some, I don't know, do some research about why you think that that's okay to do. And we'll, I hope, get to the point where we can address that as well. But when we're talking about our wands and manifesting from this fire's perspective, today I went and got my nails done. And the last time we talked, we were talking about, what, I don't know, it was having a best friend conversation. I was like, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to get a French manicure. And what did you say?
I have never in my 10 years of knowing you seen you with a French manicure.
Never.
Ever.
Never. So, and here's why. I was in a toxic relationship from the time I was 16 until I was 20 with a very controlling Taurus who had when I say that the relationship was toxic, I will also not assume accountability for it, because I was in it. I was very young, and it was very clearly emotionally, sometimes physically abusive. The relationship was one where I was being groomed with a lot of controlling, codependent, and manipulative strategies and rules to keep me, I don't know, in a box of desirability or rightness, right? So one of them was if I had to have my nails done, and if my nails, but I could only have a French manicure. Okay. They could not be too long. They had to be a certain length, and it had to be a white tip French manicure. Other things, I could not wear my hair in a ponytail because my hair was not long enough by this person's standards to wear in a ponytail, because a ponytail should hang to it should be long enough to hang to a certain length. I was at the time I was like a size 6, but this person would I was like a 5'6" in express clothes and like 5'7", 9", stuff like that. That was my size, a 5'6". But this person would only buy me size 3, 4 clothes to wear. So these, close your mouth, friend. My friend's mouth is wide open, right? Agape. Because what? Who knew, right? So this is just kind of like some of the, and these rules weren't even the bad stuff that was happening. I thought that was the baseline of normal. I didn't realize that that was the setup for the cheating, the lying, the financial abuse and assault, and all the other things that came along over the course of that 4-year relationship. When it was over, I refused ever again to get another French manicure. I was like, I will never do that again. And consciously and subconsciously, y'all, it has been 23 years since I have put white tips on my nails. Now, I have healed 13 times over. I have put this person in the fire pit. I done set him to the fire. I done released it. I done let it go like Elsa. I've done all the things. But I never actually went back to a French manicure. Today was the first time that I went and sat down in the chair and told the lady, she's like, pick your color. And I was like, I don't want color. I just want a French. And she was like, shaping my nails, and she was like, so do you want your French to be thick or thin? And I was like, I don't know what that means. I do not do this. Why are you asking me questions? But as I'm sitting there getting my nails done today, I'm like, she painted one and then she asked me to look at it. And I looked at it and was like, oh my God, that's so pretty. It's so pretty. It's really
so
dope.
Pretty on your hands. I never not want to fight that nigga. Man, I never. There is never going to come a day when you may have put him in the fire, but I bring him right back up to treat it like whack-a-mole in the spirit. Okay? I'm sorry. We shouldn't say that. I'm not abusive. But also, friend, it's so stunning. I don't know, it suits you. So I'm so glad that there's reclamation.
Yes, it's very much an energy of reclamation with this selection today. But what came up for me while I was sitting in the chair was it started to unlock a lot of history for me about the socialization and the stigma associated with how Black women care for ourselves and how loaded this manicure was today. And I was sitting in the chair and I'm like, yo, I remember being, because I was not allowed, I would have got popped upside my head if I was not allowed to use the crazy glue when I was 8. I was not allowed to paint my nails red. I wasn't allowed to have color on my nails. I think when I was 2 years old, my mom tells a story that they took me to Sears to go get my pictures done. And I get up and I'm sitting in my little frilly dress, sitting on the thing, getting ready to had my pictures taken, and my mom looked down and there I had painted my nails for my photo shoot at 2.
This is the most Libra thing. This is what she's saying is I've been Venusian since Venusian could Venuge. And Venus
My
is
mama
the
was
planet
like,
that rules Libra.
listen, my mom was like, we had to stop what we were doing, and your father had to go into Sears and get nail polish remover to come back to take the nail polish off your hands, because it was like all over the place, because I had painted mine. I was like, I will be ready. Pictures, you said, a photo shoot? What? So it's not, it's not on me, it's in me. You know what I mean? But growing up Southern Baptist, there were rules. So like the red lipstick that I'm wearing now, psych, red fingernail polish or colored nails or like sheer stockings or, all of the rules of propriety was also a way of being socialized into certain behaviors. So then we grow up and we get a little bit older. I'm like 13 now, got babysitting money. I can go get my nails done at the shop. Friend, tell me about your first time at the nail shop. Do you remember your nail shop days of like the early 90s?
Oh man, I remember going, I was little, like I was like 5th grade, 6th grade, deeply concerned about my nails. I went to church with the baddest of the baddest women. So I have these young adults, because back then in the early 90s, the young adult choirs were popping because here comes
Yes.
Kirk Franklin with all his
French rolls
stuff
and bayangs.
and streaks in the French roll,
Finger
right? Like,
waves into a
and the
French roll
nails
with a
with
flip in the back.
the flip with the baby mullets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I don't mean to call it a mullet because it sounds, but I always wanted the asymmetrical, and my hair wouldn't. That doesn't matter. But it was a set. It was a set. It was a part. It was like you're ordering a number 7 from McDonald's. It all has to come together. But I was in church, and I was in 5th grade, 6th grade, and all of the young adult choir. My mom's friends had nails, and my mom let me. I was going into 6th grade. I was just about to turn 11, and I got my first set, and it infuriated my father. It just I also that is the time when the girls, that was 8. That was a little bit before, because I was also trying to wear like the Payless version of Tim's and cutting my Levi's into shorts. Cause what do you mean real love?
Because
What do
you
you
wanted to look like Mary J. Blige as well. I cut holes in the tops of my brother's baseball hats.
And now we're
And
fighting.
they were gonna murder, he was gonna murder me. Like, I was like, but I need my ponytail to come out of the top of my hat and have Shirley Temple curls. What you mean?
Sure, with a nail.
I listened to What's the 411 this morning. So like,
It's in us not listen.
listen.
So that was my first time, and I just remember deeply, like, just knowing that this was something that, like, this was like a part, like you're saying, like a part of me. And I'm not saying, and I know, like, maybe this sounds shallow to people or whatever, but like, I also hope you're hearing us say the strongest women we know,
Yeah.
the the women that we look to, loved, revered, and respected. And this is like including, our mamas and our aunties, and again, the folks in our community. Like, it didn't matter, their nails were done.
Mm-hmm.
And it just looked, and then now we're not even talking about the ornation, honey. We're not even talking about the rings on each finger. We're not talking about the accentuation of the rings with the rest of the jewelry. And sometimes we remember when they started piercing the pinky nail.
Yes. Are you kidding me?
I
Girl.
want to talk about it. There was a young girl, I was in 5th grade. Her name was Selena. I don't know where you are, girl, but I hope you're well, and I hope you're blessed and thriving wherever you might hear this or feel your spirit being tugged on it. But her mama would only do, we were in 5th grade, and she would only do her pinky real
Mm-hmm.
long. And long for 5th graders is like the fact that it exists. And she would
Absolutely.
put a little piercing in it. And I snuck over to Selena's house and got my pinky done
Eh?
with a it. And what you
With
couldn't tell me in
the
Miss
shit.
Moorhead's class was shit. All I'm doing is this. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What page is it? What page are we reading in Boxcar Children? What do
With
you
not boxcar children.
what chapter are you on? What do you need? What do you
Listen, it's so real though. Like, I remember going in and being like, okay, we're going to get a $15 rebase.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
A $15 rebase, and I have $5 for airbrush.
Break it down.
Okay. This is like that scene where TLC breaks down how to go broke after selling a million records. This is how the nail girlies are getting over on you right now. Picture it. It's 1990. Denver, Colorado. I walk into Nails First, which is right around the corner from First Nails. They're competitors, but also cousins. So, either way, somebody's getting paid that day. But I walk into Nails First. Tony is going to do my nails because why is there always a man named Tony at the nail shop? There's always a Tony, right? So Tony is going to do my nails. We're going to get a short square, maybe square round. Squoval. You know what I mean?
Money. We'll get to that. We're
going to get a short square round with a airbrush French tip. Maybe you have like an extra $3 for a design on one finger, which would be the ring finger. Only. Okay?
We'll get to that.
Okay, one design on a ring finger is not long enough to pierce, like Erica's talking about, because you bet not come in here with no long ass nails because you got homework to do. And who's gonna do these dishes? So like, don't break the rules. But you get your nails done, and then you go and you stand at the airbrush counter, and you put the finger, and then they spray your tips on, and you're done. The whole process takes 35 minutes, if that. Fast forward to me sitting down in the shop today to get a rebase because I have acrylic on my nails. She reshaped my coffin to a pointy almond, which is not quite a stiletto, but like maybe a ballerina, like a pointy ballerina kind of shape. She shapes my nails. She paints on my French, which takes a long time because it's also a gel nail polish. So you got to wait for it to harden under the UV lamp and all that stuff. I get to the counter and my good sis told me that my total was $70. $70. 70. Y'all, the game done changed. She said it with her whole face. And all I could do was just pay it because
we're done.
And now it's over. And what? So it all kind of came rushing back to me today that like, here we are again. Back in a French manicure. Inflation having done what it has. And now this shit costs $70 for this woman to do an excellent job. She did great. My nails look great. They're amazing. I can't stop staring at them. I was like, I'm
delicious.
Obsessed.
They're really.
And I believe that we should give the people what they say you have to give them in order to exchange for quality service. I'm not out here beefing about that. But inflation is some bullshit.
It really is.
Because can't we just go back over to an airbrush table? I would have been fine with an airbrush. Since we was doing a throwback today, I'd have been fine with an airbrush. You know what I mean? So.
And also, like, it's just the fact that, like, this is just not the adulthood that were the money that we were going to get.
Because my auntie was also, $25 to get her nails done. She was an almond lady. An almond a cotton candy French manicure shape,
That's an air.
Cotton candy French manicure, a Leo. She was very, that was
social, which is what the almond means.
A blonde Leo. Okay. So yeah, she meant it. She still does. So, like that was how I came up. But the inflation, I just didn't realize that the adulthood that was awaiting me would come at this price point for similar services. And while I do feel fully seated in my auntie era with my red lip and my, gold hoop with a casual hoodie, listen, $70 for a French manicure made my stomach turn. Rebase made my stomach flip flop just a tiny bit. And I blame inflation, but also I think white girls. Okay, I blame white women. I blame white girls because the nail culture, dominant culture in societies has spent so much time trying to convince us that our nails are ghetto, that they're unsanitary, that they're unnecessary, that it's frivolity, that it's, it signals a lack of professionalism or class or couth or any of those things. You have berated Black women for the expression of our abundance and our beauty and our adornment since the beginning of fucking time, going all the way back to the Tignon laws of making us wrap our heads in the 1700s because you just could not bother being stunted on by like a mane of curly, wonderful locks just flowing down our backs. The girls could not handle it. They were sick. And so now
Upset.
everybody and their mama got a Pinterest board with all these white girls with nail designs, and I'm pissed about it because it cost me $70 to get a French manicure today. So
Irritating.
I'm mad. I had to say that. And
Irritating.
I had to call my best friend and be like, we got to talk about it on the show.
We
So
have.
that's why we're here. That's how we got here.
That's how we got here. It's
Yeah.
why we're here. And same because like I remember that I know that post where it's like you think your stiletto nails or something, and it's that picture of the ancestor on the continent sitting like this, and it's her nails, and they're acrylics, and they're stained red, and they're not acrylics, they're her nails grown out, and they're stained red or whatever it is, and how that process is done, and they're easily 5 inches long. And it also, and that, so I also want to name what you're saying is this is also ancestral to us.
Oh, for sure.
In
Absolutely.
such a deep way. Like when we say wands, that's like, and to even go back to that breakdown, pentacles, cups, swords, wands. And when you're calling, think about what you're doing with your fingers, the work, like that's fire. That's, and so just like the creativity that you do with your body and your hands, like wands, that's fire territory. But like, yeah, this whole, I can't recall, and you've been there, because like I'm also the one that doesn't cut her nails down. We have our beloved. I have been with my beloved friend, family member, nail tech for 10 years.
Yeah.
For 10 years. When I get married, he has to give me a way. Okay? Like,
she means that. I'm laughing, y'all, but she's dead serious.
I mean
like she really means it.
I mean
she
it.
means it.
With my chest, like I love this man and will literally have actually had to have him. Someone came in the shop, sidebar tangent. Do you remember when someone came in the shop and they got buck with him, and Aaron had to put his hands on my hands to say, sit down.
Yeah.
Don't. Because I was like, who the to?
It's definitely, it's a love fest, but it's important to have that kind of relationship with your nail tech because, it's an art form.
It is.
It's ceremony. It's trust. It's ritual. You're like creatively channeling with this other person what it is that you want. Finding the right nail tech, someone that you want to stick with while you're doing that, depending on what kind of intentionality you're putting into your practice of manicuring your wands and maintenancing of your hands is important. And, the girls out here on Instagram and, with the pre-booking and the rules and this and the other, I'm so hyped to see girls who have like started their businesses in private practice where you don't go to the shop and it's more like, I love all of those things for you. I just want to, with the rules and things like that on your booking site, you got to make a deposit in advance and all those rules. That's fine. I hope that you find the nail tech that you can make the kind of connection with where you would say with your whole chest, that person is going to walk me down the aisle, is going to give me away when I get married. It's hilarious.
Real.
But it's real. It is important because it's ritual, right? So self-care, the adornment, the ancestral care, practice of preservation, self-preservation, in preparation for times of war, for celebration, for joy, for mourning, for rituals. When you think about it, like, I think about my aunties, my mom, when it's time to go somewhere to do something, a funeral, a wedding, concert down to the church, a holiday celebration, something like that. It's kind of like, I need to get myself together.
Yes.
Right. To get yourself together. Now, not just getting yourself together, but also making preparations to get your children together, to get the family together. So, it is that practice and that behavior is a sacred thing that is passed on culturally. And the nails, our fingernails, are just one aspect of all of the ritual that makes up Black girl magic. It's just one. And we've been sitting here talking about it for 55 minutes. and haven't even scratched the surface of what it all means yet. When I say magic is real, this is what I'm talking about. The definition of magic is to make apparent what has previously been unseen.
One more time.
To make apparent what was previously unseen. To make apparent. So we're talking about manifesting. To make it apparent, to make it appear. What was previously unseen. Doesn't say it didn't exist. It said you didn't see it.
That's all. That's all.
When I say magic is real, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how your grandmama went in the cupboard, and when you went in there and said, Grandma, I'm hungry, there ain't nothing to eat. When Grandma went in there and opened the cupboard, she opened it up and then made a meal. That was magic because she made apparent what was previously unseen. This is what I'm saying. This is so Black girl magic, right? I made apparent an experience today that was previously unseen by making a choice to say, I'm going to do this thing with my nails today that I have not done before. I feel like I'm being called to have them look this way. And that was the ritual that I went into today. And my intention was reclamation from something that I had been against for 23 years. And I had to get curious about, why am I against this? Am I really still out here allowing this thing that I supposedly heal from to influence my actions and behaviors about what color my nails are going to be in 2024? We're not going to do that. Let me go get my nails done.
Immediately.
Right? So, Black girl magic, the significance of the wands, talking with our hands, multiple rings on each, the way that the white girls in the stacked jewelry and the rings with the nails. Y'all, I'm so over it. I'm tired. Like, really? I'm talking about these 1980s, the hip hop era on the East Coast where I grew up in New Jersey. She got a ring on every finger. She got multiple rings on every finger. You got to put rings on all my fingers. The acrylic nails, rings on every finger, nameplate, door knockers with your name in them, a gold tooth or more. You know what I mean? Like on the side, what's up, slits cut into your eyebrows, stacked asymmetrical with a fresh fade. Adornment.
Brown gel. Here.
Listen, baby hair's booming, lip gloss is shining. I think she in the mood for whining and dining. Hey, around the way, girl type of time.
Hey, I felt it in my shondo.
Me and Erica sitting here right now with, I'm talking about the beauty supply girls, the door knockers from the beauty supply.
Those ones.
Or the ones from the flea market. You could go get them from Poppy. You can go get them from the Hasidics or whatever. You know, if your boyfriend was a dope dealer. If not, you just gonna go down to the beauty supply and get them for $5, $2.50, $2.59 a pack. You know what I mean? And going about now, they're in Forever 21 and, you know, and I'm like, what? So anyway, I've been ranting about Black girl magic for a moment, so I'm going to pause for a second to just like, so what does it mean though? So we're talking about it as a ritual. The wands in particular is a ritual. There is a science called Onycomancy that is a form of palmistry.
Yes.
Tell us what it means. How do I complete the magic of my ritual with this French manicure according to Onycomancy?
I am so excited about this, and you're not ranting. I need this. This is cool if someone else gets something from this. I'm blessed. That's fine. That's fine. But what you can anticipate, and it's what you're about to call in. And I've gotten what you are working to call in when you go, there's so much, and I'm not saying put so much intention. Don't make this laborious. Make sure that there's joy in when you're selecting a set. I speak to myself as I say that, because there is the time. Ebony and I, and shout out to our other bestie Monet, when we used to all be in the same city, it'd be like, girl, I got my appointment. I got to find this set. I
Gotta
figure
make
out
a
what we fit.
decision.
I gotta figure out what we finna do. And then there's dealer's choice, which is often what happens with me. And I'm grateful because
What is dealer's choice?
dealer's choice is when your nail tech picks what's happening on your hands.
That you need to have trust for.
And that's called surrender.
Yeah, okay.
That is,
Surrender. This is
this
the
is
key term. We
surrender.
talked about surrender last week.
It did.
Surrender, surrender here. Okay.
Surrender there.
Vulnerability, vulnerability.
Vulnerability. Because, like, there have been times, again, I have been in, and also there is so much vulnerability. You think about what grooming is across species. Like, it's intimate, period, point blank. From,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the interspecies relationships where the crocodiles have the birds that take care of them, and the whales have the other fishes that take care of their needs. Like, this is a interdependent ecosystem, and this is
Okay.
about, come on, this is about community, and this is
Yes.
about helping each other stay healthy, helping each other stay seen, so that you can thrive in your ecosystem. And so
Ashe.
Ashe, because it's been one of the things, like, there have been times that I have, we remember my 35th birthday, rolling out wildly hungover for myself, and I can't hold my hand, and he's like, "Do you want to be supportive of anything today?" So no, you don't want to loosen your grip? Buddy, you don't want to relax? Could you chill? I don't know. I just, and then there's a level of confrontation in grooming, and there's just these things. So as you find, this is something so special, it's so intricate, it has to do with your individuality, and it has to do with, again, just what you want to call in and what your
Yeah.
intention is. You can do this at any point. It was very, like, Onycomancy is so new. I've only been really learning this from, again, I will say her name again. Her name is Kikimancy, Kikimancy, on, I think, all platforms. This is the person that, or Occult Nails is also the other name that she has. But this has been I've been able to learn so much from this young woman, and then translate it to my life, because, like, we do this. We was already gonna get our nails done. And so
Mm-hmm.
what you can anticipate, like, we were talking about, first of all, in palmistry, this is Venus. I'm pointing to the flat part of your hand. The soft part of your hand, that is Venus. And doesn't that make sense? Because she is softness. Venus, the goddess of love, your heart, your heartstrings, what you love. And then in palmistry, I want to be clear, this is going to be Mars. Your index finger
Your
is going
thumb
to,
is Mars.
your thumb is Mars, and then your index finger is going to be Jupiter, and your middle finger is Saturn. And then your ring finger, of course, as to go, is Apollo, or the sun. And it makes sense because we used to put all of our details, all of our accoutrements, all of our splashes of personality on your ring finger, which makes sense because it is your sun. It is who you are. It's like it represents you. And then your pinky fingers are Mercury, how you
Mm.
communicate. And one of the thing about Mars is your life force. So if you have some things happening to your thumbs, you're breaking your thumbnail, what you going through? Slow down. Slow down. I'm also an astrologer, and there are so many things retrograde, meaning spinning backwards. And right now, Mars is spinning backwards and will through January 6th. And I just say that to say, slow down,
Mm.
because retrogrades ask you and invite you to slow down, and re-strategize, review your life. So, like, your left side is going to be like that underworld subconscious. It's going to be your spirit. Your right side is like pronounced physical. I'm bringing this in. And when you have your nails done, you're bridging these things together, because Aquarius and the rules of the world are as above, so within, so without. That's actually what Aquarius means. Not as above, so below. It's as above, so within, so without. As above
Mm.
your mind, how are you thinking, or things like that. But what you're saying is, I'm gonna bridge these things together because I gotta
Mm.
pull this thing down.
I see.
I need to get this intention, this job, this. I mean, and I've literally have used and strategized nails and nail sets with what I want to see in this 2.5 week period, with what I
Mm.
want to see in this 3 week period, with relief. And also, how many times do we see someone talking about, ooh, clickety clack, the bad bitch is back? Like, and it's
Yes.
the nails, right? So all this to say, everything means something. Of course it does. Like, and it should. And the other thing is shapes matter. And I'm using this Onycomancy has a big poster that you can actually purchase because I did and I love it so much. And it's by Occult Nails, OCCULT nails. But I'm gonna look over. So your coffin tips, those are fire. Okay. Flat, like no, like a blunt tip. Think of like a what you use for when we say blunt force trauma, that's some fire shit, right? Like, so that's gonna be a fire shape. The air shape is gonna be about like a round tip. Stiletto, this stiletto, that is actually giving water. And then the flat square is earth. So when and I am a and how often do I get squares, friend?
Not very often.
And
But you
because
had some, the ones that you just took off were flat,
They're
were short
square. They
squares.
were flat squares because we had to get home.
Yeah.
We had to get home. Uh,
Grounded. Yeah.
we had to get grounded and we had to get home. And so one of the things that you can do is even look into these things to see, like in your own world, what you need to bring more in. Do you need to go socialize more? That's gonna be air. That's gonna be a little cute coffin. That's gonna be a little round almond, if you will. And for you, it's actually this stiletto, it is actually water, which is nuts because you
Really do water.
don't do it's don't and also there are types, and so when you're getting these decals, if you're doing like I would do 3 dots, and it's like, well, what then you just take it it's the onychomancy is this compounding of the sciences. It's numerology, because if I'm gonna get 3 dots on my sun finger, I'm saying I want to communicate outward. I'm saying myself wants to be more outwardly the number 3, communication more. If I want 5, I want change. If I'm gonna put 5 dots on 5 gold dots lining my D, because I'm also the girl. My nail stories are I loved what people dubbed the ghetto girls. I loved them. And I come from a family that wanted us to be anything but that because of where we come from. But I'm like, there's so much like fuck what you heard. The ghetto girls always saved my life. Like
Yeah.
they were always in the way with me and for me and had my
Yeah.
like there was something about and I'm not saying that I saw them as ghetto. I'm saying how society had dubbed them. And they were the
Right.
girls with the long acrylics that were sculpted with the designs on the French, and that was always something that I wanted in my life, and I wanted because I was like,
Remember
in
marble nails? The
bring
marble
those
paint?
that's Saturn. That is
Whew,
Saturn.
the marble nails joint. I was like, please, can I just, my mom be like, no, it
Never.
looks too, no, it's too
Too
grown.
grown.
No. And I would be like, oh, I just want a marble set. And I'd be like, can I get it on one finger? And it would always be the ring finger. And I'm like, fine.
But also that's nuts because you're a Capricorn rising and marble is Saturn.
Okay.
Just
See, look,
FYI. Just FYI. And there's like a whole I've learned so much and I'm so grateful. And like again, if I wanted 7 something, that's spirituality, intellect, right? Like you can really think this through and see what happens with your nails. Now, French is also Capricorn because it's about a boundary. And marble is
mm,
associated with, wealth, lux, rich, elder. If you walk in an elder's house, there's usually marbles, like an established elder. Marble is something that's a part of that, like their world, their life. It's a symbol, right? Like marble statues, things like that. That's very Capricorn. And so, as you can see, I'm nerding out a little bit.
go, I'm following.
Okay, good. This is one of my favorite things, but the French manicure lets you know that you have a clear boundary because it's a very clear where the white stops. And Capricorn loves them some boundaries. And
I
it's
love a
really
boundary.
love a
I talk
boundary
about boundaries on here all the time. This is one of
all
my
the
favorite
time.
conversations. Get you some.
Get you some boundaries.
Get you
If you love
some.
get you some. And not only that, like there's like a clear separation
Mm-hmm.
and also like there's still beauty in that.
Yeah.
And that's what Saturn is really Saturn is a lot for a lot of people, especially Saturnian people, but there's a lot of it. And again, onychomancy is a compound of the sciences, of the studies, of the esoteric studies. It's numerology, it's astrology, it's palmistry. Looking at the scars, I can look at someone's scars on their hands and see where they've been struggling a little bit. Okay, you got scars on your thumb, you've been struggling with some health stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or you've had some trauma in your life that is trying to take you out. And I, like, for me, my Jupiter finger on my subconscious or my spirit side, which is my left, when I was putting up dishes one time, my parents they had 6 kids. They never got rid of anything. And there was a dish that was like one of the cups had a crack in it. And I went to put it up and it jammed it's why my finger is split in half. And it cut my finger down past my cuticle. So now my finger grows in 2. And so, or my fingernail grows in 2 spaces and it's very split and it's uncomfortable. And that has a lot to do, hindsight, knowing what I know. If you have a scar on your Jupiter finger and on the left side, you might struggle with knowing and owning your gifts spiritually.
Interesting.
It's obnoxious. It's a little too precise sometimes. So it's just, there's so many things we could look at and do. But like at one point, a lot of people were analyzing Meg's nails, Megan the Stallion's nails. She was getting the lipsticks, which is that diagonal
Yeah.
flare, that diagonal hard flare. That's like earth. That's like, and it's a flare. So when you're combining things, now you're really getting alchemical. Like now you're really playing with the magician. You're playing with your actual wands. And I love, as we talk about tarot, the thing I love about tarot is the fact that in the magician card, he has everything he needs and it's on his person.
Yeah. The
And
magician
so
has all of the elements. He has everything. Take sip from crystal mug. I see you, girl. I see
it's your
you.
mug friend. It's your mug friend.
I want to take it, but I don't because it's
It's your
yours.
mug friend. And shout out to Renee, the best. She
Yeah, the
will
best gift
give
giver.
you a gift that you didn't know you needed in your life. It speaks directly to your spirit.
Yeah. One of my
But
favorite sets ever was when I had I had like a sheer nude acrylic set that were all, they were maybe like 2 inches, I would say. And my thumb, index, and middle finger were all square tubes, kind of. And then I had a lipstick on my ring finger and a stiletto on my pinky. So it kind of
okay, wait.
like,
I want you to, because I want to explain what you did, because I'll run it back, and then because like this is your favorite set.
yeah, that was my favorite set.
So, and also you also now include color psychology. This is also a
Yeah,
part of this, right? And I'm
yeah.
going to look over again color symbolism. Nude and cream are grounding and cultivate personal peace. Yeah, those are what the browns do, which is nuts because what you are Capricorn rising forward facing, that means that's what you're aiming for. You put a lipstick, right, on your
A
pinky,
lipstick, just the shape. The
just
lipstick
the
was on
shape.
my ring finger, and then a like a spiked stiletto on my pinky. And then these were just square, like the straight, like the barrels with a blunt square tip.
Yeah,
That
so
was my favorite set. And the there was no polish. It was all just a nude, a
it
sheer
just looked
nude.
like,
Yeah,
and
like
it's all, and
he
on both
mixed
hands.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he mixed the acrylic so that it was like my actual skin color. So it was like a custom blend of acrylic powder into these sculpted nails with those shapes. And I kid you not, like that, I was like, I could die here. Like this is what I want my nails to look like forever. But I don't live there
And
anymore,
also
and I
he
haven't been able
made,
to find somebody else that I trust to do that.
and I know he put sparkles in it. I
No, he
know there was,
didn't. No, he didn't because I
no,
don't
it
like
wasn't like a
sparkles.
shimmer.
Oh, well, a little bit.
You
So
know
it
what I
didn't look
mean? Like the
muddy.
shimmer,
Yeah.
like he does in his nudes. I
Yeah,
should
but
put it that way. That sounds weird.
I don't do glitter on my
Right.
nails. I don't like glitter, and I don't like iridescent, like sparkly nail polish or glittery things in my polish. I don't know. It's just never really been my thing. I'll take gold accents and stuff like that, but that's kind of, I can't have my nails be too busy because I get distracted by them after a certain period of time. So I like to be able to admire my nails for a long enough time that A, I feel like I got my money's worth, but also B, that I feel like some level of consistency. And maybe that's also my Capricorn rising because boundaries.
Boundaries.
And I'm like, these nails are too loud and I have been looking at them for too long and they have to come off right now or I'm going to lose my shit.
Right. And I've
I
seen
like,
her do that.
yeah.
I've seen her do that. I've
Where I'm
seen
like,
her
I got tired of looking at it. They
go to
had to go.
Walgreens in the middle of the night to get some acetone to remove a
Yeah.
busy set.
Yeah, it's too
And
much.
like,
It's too
so what
much.
you were doing in that set, so like the long pointy mercury finger communication fingers, your pinkies, that's what that is. So you're again the balance, like doing different ones on each finger, great, but across that means again you're creating balance. And I'm doing my hands in this way like a conductor because that's what you are doing with the energy in your world. And to know that these three were grounding your life force, your Jupiter, like the big outer planets were grounding, right? And then you have the intimate planets doing the work, says so much. And it's
I
so
mean, here's what it says. It's kind of like, I might, you know what I mean? What's the meme like? I'm pointing at your nigga in the club.
that.
You know what I mean? So like my gun fingers are
Yes,
like, solid, but also she's a little bit ratchet. She fast. You gotta watch her. You
you
know
better
what I mean?
watch. He ain't a killer, but don't push her. Don't push her. Nah.
I felt so seen.
And it's like, and it's so beautiful when you have somebody that's willing to collaborate with you, like on those things. And
Yeah.
then even like for me, I've wanted some things and he just tells me no,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely not. That's gonna be tacky.
I have
And
been
the
told
other
no
part,
by the experts as well, where they're like, that's not gonna, no, don't do that.
absolutely, it's a hard stop. And we
You
give
should
thanks.
listen when they tell you no. Yeah. I think if they have the courage to tell you no, it's usually either because they don't want it's not a good look, it doesn't fit the brand, or also it's something that could be outside of their skill set and it's better for them to just not do it than for you to try to like force something that you saw in a photograph on somebody who clearly doesn't have the skills to do that. So that's another part where I'll use the word discernment
Yeah,
comes into play
yeah,
around the intentional ritual practice of being deliberate about your grooming and adornment and the self-care that you're practicing by putting this into focus. Now, another thing that I wanted to bring up is like some of the girls can't sit still long enough to go,
right.
who hate the nail shop,
Yeah.
don't have time, don't have the luxury of not taking the kids with them to the nail shop, just don't have the patience and all those other things. But your time in the shop is yours. So if you cannot sit still for an hour and let someone take care of you,
Schedule a call with Coach Ebony. Cause girl, what? Like huh?
it is
Sorry.
it,
I don't
it
mean that
doesn't
in a
have to
judgy
be.
way.
No, and it doesn't have to be for nail. Like if you don't like it, don't do it. If you hate chip nail polish or you don't like the feeling, you have a sensory ick around it.
Yeah.
This is something that me and my best friend absolutely love to do, and things that I'm influenced by based off what we have seen our whole lives in growing up. It doesn't is not for everybody. But if it is
Whatever
something
your
that
nails
you
are,
are yours. I mean, even if you don't have like just your actual natural nail bed is also beautiful and should be something that you keep clean and groomed and pay attention to. I'm sure you're not walking around with like hangnails and like, snagging your sheets up and stuff like that. So it doesn't require a 2-inch acrylic manicure with like a color pattern. You know what I mean? Like for you to practice self-care, for you to put lotion on your hands, or for you to use like an exfoliating wash on your hands when you wash them, or for you to push back your cuticles or clean underneath your nails or get an emery board and file. Like those things are just as powerful, and the fingers still represent the same things with or without the adornment that we're discussing. I
I just
feel
realized
the need
the
to say
thing you
that.
said about snagging your sheets, and I kind of left. But I'm also saying too, I had a mute. I had a mute, y'all. But I'm also saying too, like if whatever, like how we feel about nails, whatever that is to you, if you can't sit through that, please schedule a call. Like let's talk about why. Please call Coach Ebony said to see why you can't sit through something that brings you ease, joy, and rest. Sorry, that's my
No,
plug.
I appreciate the plug. I remember one time we were I'm going to bring up our non-melanated relatives that we share the planet with here,
Yeah.
where me and E were like one of the things that I say all the time is like, Black women not looking like what we've been through is going to be the death of us, because going to the nail shop, making it a priority, budgeting a line item to be able to have that moment, that hour of rest and peace and joy and fulfillment, to be able to look down at my nails while I'm sitting in the car, in the garage for 45 minutes, but just to muster the energy to walk in the house to face whatever is coming ahead of me, and to be able to lay my hands on the steering wheel and stare at my nails and be like, that's pretty, that's nice. That matters. I don't think
Yeah.
y'all know
Yeah.
how many people have been saved from getting cussed smooth out behind my nails being done.
Devastation.
I want you, so like, before you go judging what someone does or does not do, have compassion, because you don't understand why or what benefit it brings them. And I think that our bond in our friendship, being around the ways that we take care of ourselves and adorn ourselves, is major. And that is true to the connection, I think, among Black women, that I can say for certain. But if you look at women across the diaspora, the indigenous women, in all of our care and keeping of ourselves, from making body butters, moisturizing our skin, exfoliating, hair brushing and rituals and growth and serums and all of the things that we do to take care of ourselves, that shit exists outside of and beyond the gaze of white settler colonial imperialist bullshit and capitalism.
Yeah.
It is something that we have always done and will continue to do. This, like I said before, this magic is not on us, it's in us. So I have had situations where I have been to my face, both Erica and I, judged by members of the global minority who are fascinated. I just don't understand how you girls do it. I could never. You just, I don't know. You're just so stressed out all the time, but you just manage to always look so pretty. Like, as if to say that we should look like what we've been through, or what they think it's like to be us. I don't know
Their
where
projection, perception.
their projections and perceptions about,
Because
it's
I
like,
don't have those. Kid, how do you, girl, what?
how do you get anything done? And it's like, girl, with or without these nails, you could not do what I've done by noon in a week. Let's be clear about that, including standing here talking to your anti-Black ass while I'm trying to just get through the morning without incident. So,
Boop.
I'm just saying, I don't have the patience.
And this is where we can get into where they talk about, I don't know how you, and how do you wipe? Do you really want to know? Because what I know is that you don't even use washcloths. So me wiping should be never any ounce of your concern. And again, because I am typically the girl with the double, with 2X. How many times have I had sets where he just files off the nub, the plastic part that comes in the tips, and it's just that little itty bitty piece. And so now I have like 2XL. I've had several of those, and I've had them stiletto, I've had them square. And I mean, and they're far. How do you, it's like, that doesn't matter. It's what you can, it's, you know what, friend, it brings them cognitive dissonance. And it's not our business, but it's even more irritating when they make their cognitive dissonance our business. And I don't know when it's going to stop. Because even now, like I don't know if you remember that one individual who used to be like, oh, but you still have such pretty hands even without them. Great. I'm still going to go get my nails done. Girl.
Yeah, nobody ever said that my hands weren't pretty.
I didn't say
What made
that.
you think? I didn't like. What made you think that? It's so
Sorry
funny.
that you have gnarly fingers. What did Cat Williams say?
He
Because
said
you're
gnarly
fingers. I see. That's what I get. You hear the impediment come through a little bit. That's what I get. I'm sorry. But it's so obnoxious because it's like, why judge? Just observe. Step back and observe, and just hold it for your journal later.
Yeah.
There's no need to, because it's frustrating, because there have been so many times where I've been like, friend, I should probably take my nails out. But do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I have ever had to. Like, let me put a pin in that. Like, it's not that I've ever, because we do them like so much, and But I'm saying there have been times because of what the white gaze has done or I've allowed to penetrate into my mentality
Yeah.
where it's like, maybe I should stop. Maybe I should go shorter. Ooh, it's session. I'm gonna get short. Our homie hates session because he's like, so we're gonna do the stud fingers again. And no offense, that might be. I'm not trying to be problematic, but and also shout out to our shop because our shop was one of the first shops that did a gay set. And if you don't know what that is, mind your business. If you want to know what
Yeah.
that is, go Google it. But like I just like this. There's so many, and then shout out to our shop because we have sent our trans loved ones there. We have sent our beloved Meadow witch love.
Mm-hmm.
He has gone and got and continues to go because he feels safe.
Yeah, and to be in there and to be in safe space and to not be judged and to be able to like get what you want and what you need in a space that is like clean and friendly and accommodating, and it's a really magical place to find. And I'm sure there's a million nail shops in every city,
Yeah.
and also the culture of nails and nail shop, I think, varies city to city.
Yeah, that's real.
I
Yes.
think because we're talking, they're as unique as the people who work in them
Yeah.
and the people who frequent them, and what those neighborhoods and demographics have to do with them. But like the judgment folks, the cognitive dissonant babes, I have a hard time with, like, if you, for instance, today I made a TikTok, or yesterday I made a TikTok talking about my gray hair and saying that when I was young, I always envisioned myself being in my 40s and having these really luscious, full gray locks, like I wanted to be Toni Morrison when I grew up. So that's, whatever. And still do, by the way, but neither here nor there. So I just made this like 15-second video reel of like me zooming in on the fact that none of my grays in the top of my head are integrated into my locks. They are writing in cursive where everybody else is like in coil formation. And I was like, I didn't realize that my gray hairs would actually not be willing participants in my vision for myself with luscious gray locks. And it was kind of funny, but it was just like a cute little TikTok thing. Y'all, the people in the comments, not all of them, but there's certain folks who took that to mean that people who made comments about like, I don't, why do people think that 40 is old, and to think that you thought you were going to have a full head of gray hair at 40 is ridiculous, and what I think is beautiful, grays are beautiful, that just means and there's no need to doubt yourself. And I'm like, what the fuck? I did not, first of all, they're
Your
stop it.
projections are not mine.
Not
I'm not
mine.
saying that.
I
I'm
did
not
not
saying that.
say I do not love my gray hair. I just noticed that my gray hair does not want to be inside of the locks. That's it. It was just an observation. And perhaps this is where I fucked up, and I don't have no business telling the people on TikTok my inner thoughts, because y'all take that as an invitation to therapize me and encourage me against your own issues. Or then everybody starts talking about what their gray hairs mean to them. And, you know, it's still beautiful anyway, and don't be so hard on yourself. And I'm
At
like,
what
girl,
did I say they weren't beautiful though? What are you talking about? What
reading
are you
comprehension is
talking?
a skill. And I think the same thing has been true in like where you're saying about like cutting your nails for session and those things. Like I remember wanting when junk nails first came out,
Come
and I
on.
was like, sign me up. And I had this homegirl at the time who was like, you cannot wear junk nails. You are not a junk nail kind of black girl. And you da 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 da. And you are not going to be able to walk up in your job with junk nails. You know that I'm a black girl named Ebony from New Jersey, right? Did you know that? Did you know that my middle name is Chanel with an SH? Like, did you?
Say can I cause say because like when I
Well, who am I? But like,
butt
that's
ready for
me.
it, who
I'm
had
a
my
black.
butt ready for a junk nail? What do
What
you
you
mean?
mean?
And also like that's the thing too, because it's also and again the psychology, because when we go to Onycomancy, we're saying, here are my wands for the world to see.
Yes.
And here we are saying, like, when you put something on your nails, you are going to draw attention to it's very Leo behavior. It is very sun behavior. It's very like, and you are now, especially as a projector, now inviting, unfortunately, like you said, human design projector, inviting these things because it's like they're saying like you're saying this is what I'm saying about me. I don't have any of those negative connotations, and you're telling me that you have every negative connotation, and
Yeah.
you've separated yourself from your own. You have given yourself all these hurdles in between whatever you see blackness as and your culture and your identity as. And same for me, because and just because the people might not know what session is, legislative session.
Yeah.
I did work in politics, and
I'm the only
I'm trying
that
so hard
snicker.
to claim it.
Because did y'all? Ooh, she was choking on that. She was choking on her own voluntary resignation. That was wild.
Sips water.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
But like every January, it's let me shorten them so they don't say. And I think we had one legislative session. It was when we did Crown Act that I left. I actually had mermaid junk nails. And they actually came up in my memories today. And I had they were full. He didn't cut them down. He just filed off the nub. So, and it was the orange seashell nails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She had seashells and like sand and sparkles encased in clear acrylic with like orange ombre. It was a dope set.
It
It
was
was
the
epic.
mermaid's treasure chest is what
Yes.
we decided it was. And also he was like, "Oh, he was like, "It's January." I was like, "I know, go for it. We ball. Let's go." But all of this to say, like, I remember being in committees, and I remember why it hit me why I do short nails in session. I did more op-eds that year. I did more typing that year. I did more posts that year than I've done at any time in my professional legislative career
Mm-hmm.
with 2.5-inch acrylics. Because remember, I was telling myself they needed to be small because I'm comms and digital and I need to do this and this and this. Tell y'all a lot of my business. But like, I thought I needed them to be short. And come to find, we knock out every freaking form of policy
Mm-hmm.
when I'm at full throttle, like, self. And so
Yeah.
I'm gonna carry that with me if they tap me in my minor early retirement from politics this season. But I know, friend, I don't.
She don't want to be saved. She don't want to leave. She
But
don't want to be saved.
oh God! But also just realizing, like, I was doing it because it was already so violent to go to the Capitol.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Because you remember the year they put me at the gun rally
Mm-hmm.
as the only one of 2 Black women at the
Mm-hmm.
session, and I braids to my back. But there's things that you do that you think you're protecting yourself from, when really that's when you need to be yourself the most. And so
Absolutely.
that.
Because it's armor. Like here's
Come
the
on.
thing.
That's where we was getting, friend.
This
Come
is
on.
so here's the thing about the magic. The protection. I know, I know, I know. I know white Jesus has us in a chokehold as a people.
It's more
But
of a head.
I just want you, before you start talking about crystals and ancestors being demonic, don't come over here with that bullshit.
That's not this
Because
space.
what I want you to know is that okay. So the Dahomey women of Woman King wore long nails and they sharpened their nails into spikes, stilettos for war. Okay. They dredged their skin in palm oil for hand to hand combat so that they would be slippery, so that they could escape a tackle, so that you could not just tussle with
You're not going to.
a Dahomey warrior. Okay. When we talk about in the year 2024, manicuring your nails and moisturizing your body to go to war with politicians at a gun rally, you got to use what's in you to create a hedge of protection around you so that you will be safe. That means that you might have to get brighter. Because remember when I talked about the light, how it's going to repel some folks and attract others? I want you
Yes.
to understand the benefit of your light being as bright as it possibly can to repel those who do not
Yes.
want to be seen.
Yes.
You have to shine brighter. Okay. So I understand that we just out here talking about fun nail shapes and things like that. But this is bigger than that. Go ahead, friend.
Now I want to tag in on for the Southern Baptist Christian girls because she does have a degree in Christian ministry. And in the book of Leviticus, you can find that
Mm,
all 12 tribes had a gemstone assigned to them. And when they went into battle, they were on the breastplates.
mm.
From amethyst to garnet to diamonds to lapis lazuli. They were on the breastplates because each tribe was designated a stone. And when the Bible says, if you don't cry out, the rocks will, why is that? Because the crystals have a frequency. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be. If you want to shout right now, sorry, I just because what we can, and then and then if you think about the temple that Solomon got to build with the cedars of Lebanon,
Mm.
and in the inner court was all amethyst and lapis lazuli for your throat chakra to cry out. I want you to know that there was intention. I studied this shit, y'all, and I don't mean to call it shit in the sense of that. I know it went jagged because I said,
No, go ahead.
but
That's all right.
I just like if we are going to believe, and I
Mm.
want you to know that and I'm not saying we're not like anti-Christian in here. That's not that. We're saying don't come in here with pitchforks and condemnation. We're saying
Yeah.
come in here with your heart open and understanding that they told you that healing was witchcraft so that you would not do it.
Say it one more time.
Healing was witchcraft so that you would not do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when we talk about washing your feet, let's go to the New Testament. When they say the disciples of God, the apostles of God will have clean feet. They will kick the dust from one town to go to the next. They were taking care of their feet. Baby, that's a pedicure. Like, I want you to know that, like, there are things that you did to maintain the temple to be able to receive the messages, and it's evident. It wasn't about sitting and praying. And it is, yes, I'm not saying that. It wasn't about lamenting the space that you were in. It was about using the tools and leveraging into the earth because she is magic. And that is undeniable. And it's also about the fact when we talk about, again, if you don't cry out, the rocks will. That is because everything on this planet has a frequency. And if you're not going to do it, other things around you will. So, like, we can blend all of this. And again, in the temples in the Old Testament, they walked around with incense. They walked around with herbs. Rosemary is a bondage breaker, baby, and it's a wealth giver if you sit and soak in it. Esther sat for a year in oils and having her hair perfumed because she came from a place where that wasn't first nature for her. And then she went on to make friends. Like, let me just tell y'all that there's magic all throughout that text that so many of us ignore because of the issues and concern of condemnation, when all the while it's just a tool for you. Our ancestors used the Psalms because that's what they are. That's a war cry. That's a protector. That is a solvent. That is your armor. And because they are holy sacred texts from the Bhagavad Yoga texts and the chants that are sacred, if you turn on the Om chant for like 20 minutes, you're going to feel it in your house. If you turn
Yeah.
on a gospel song for 20 minutes, I've turned up Blessed and Highly Favored on repeat since Sunday. And there's been a shift because it honors my ancestors. Come on, friend. Sorry. A little off key. We'll get it right next time. But all I'm saying is there
No.
are ways and there's things in us. There's a thing about our voice. There's a thing about the rocks, the crystals, the burning of the herbs to clear a space. There is something about burnt offerings. There is something about offering what is best for you and what you've got, because when that lady gave her last 2 cents, that was all she had.
Why do you think they brought the Magi? First of all, the wise
Let's talk
men
about the Magi and what the Magi word means,
were
friend.
Magi. Magi means magician
Come
and
on.
astrologer. They were
Come on.
astrologers, okay,
How'd
or
they find Jesus,
astronomers,
friend?
by following the stars in the
Come on.
solar system, but that they had been tracking. So they followed
They had
the
been
stars.
generationally tracking.
Yeah, that's when you read, what was it? Is it Luke where
Mm-hmm.
It traces the lineage of
Genealogy.
Jesus, the genealogy of Jesus through Joseph's line, like all the way back and back and back. That had to have been written somewhere before. You see, you understand what I'm saying? It's where they knew to go find him and knew when he was coming and brought him frankincense and myrrh,
The cleansers.
like the cleansers. So
The
I
consecrators.
understand
The
everybody.
consequences.
Right, and I understand that everybody wants to, grab white sage and is an eraser, but that's not your medicine. You have medicine. We have medicine. You have indigenous medicine. You're scared to use it because you think that it's demonic, which also is further reason why you probably shouldn't have your hands on anybody's sage or Palo Santo if you feel like that. So, like,
It burning you up because you might have the demon. You might be dealing with the blocks. Like,
I'm
and
just
also
saying,
like the sage too. Like the other thing is there's protocols like in
yeah,
cleansing. It's an eraser. So now you got to bring high vibrancy things in. That's why Esther and women and in hoodoo you use vanilla for protection, like calling in warmth and like rose is one of the highest vibrating flowers on the planet.
heart medicine,
It's heart medicine, cardamom, extra warmth, the cinnamon, war, protection, protecting yourself against war. And we're
holy
not, again,
basil.
I really want to anchor down that we're not coming for the church girls because we ourselves are church girls. We ourselves are church girls. And
Yeah.
we are also church girls in this space in our lives where we can take what we've known, we can take the way that we've been ostracized. I have the person that I go back to back with on any day that ends in Y. There are things that have occurred because they just don't want because they just don't want you to see your liberation. If
Yeah.
they can keep your pockets bound up, if they can keep you thinking you can't get free unless you get that prayer cloth for $32.99, if they can keep you like, I just want you to know that this is where Ebony is literally saying magic is real because love, and most of all, love of yourself is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And your magic, and again, Hebrews 1 and 2 says, what is it about things that are not seen? Faith is a substance of things not seen, in this, and that those things that are hoped for. Am I saying that right? So roughly?
Faith is a substance of. My grandmother is like, you better get it right.
Yeah, I know.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
That's
The
magic.
substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not unseen.
Magic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, and it's all throughout every single ancient and sacred text. And we just want you to root down in it. That's what we're
That's
talking.
it. I just want you to actually listen to the words to know that,
No
like,
matter your walk.
you
No
are the
matter.
medicine. You are the medicine, the magic, and the miracle. It's in you. This is an allegory for your being, your existence. We're all attached to a collective consciousness that is ever expanding, where nothing dies, it is simply transformed. And we belong to it. We are of it. It is holding us, and we are holding it in this interdependence that is connected to legions of generations of ancestors who came before you. Specifically for us who descend from stolen and enslaved people from the continent of Africa, our ancestry predates antebellum chattel slavery. Our ancestry predates that. And I understand that 450, 500 years is a whole lot of time. But you are the descendants of those who could not be killed.
One more time.
So you are the descendants of those who could not be killed. You know what I mean? Or were at least alive long enough to meet, to copulate, to gestate, to deliver, and to raise
Yeah.
those who would be responsible for repeating that cycle again and again and again and again. I think it's something like 9,000
Yeah.
folks
Yeah.
had to complete that miraculous cycle of
Yeah.
one semen splitting one egg out of billions for you to survive every viral infection, disease, doom, tragedy, murder, death, and mayhem, war, violence, oppression, imprisonment, enslavement. You survived all of that.
Yeah.
We all did.
Yeah.
We are alive.
Yeah.
So our being is so much more than our doing. And if we can just root down into being present, to what we have access to the privileges, to the benefits, to the rights, to the experiences of just being able to draw breath on earth, it's like it makes the prayers of our grandparents make much more sense. I remember hearing my grandfather pray that prayer. You know what I mean? Being grateful to wake up to be clothed in my right mind. And I would be like, what you mean clothed in your right mind? What does that mean? Clothed and in my right mind another day. That's what I mean. That's what he meant. But also to be present of mind, to have access and agency, to have choice, to see how you want to show up and what you want to do on any given day. So like the magic, the miracle, the altar that is us, that is our bodies, is just it's so sacred. It's so priceless. It's absolutely invaluable. So
Go be on purpose then.
get the manicure. Get the manicure.
And we'll to go around because I know we hitting 2 hours. I see
Oh
my
God, the editing. The editing is like, oh God, whatever shall we do? We could also split it into two episodes and do this for 2 weeks. I ain't tripping. Listen,
I'm fine
we'll
with
figure
it.
it out. I'm gonna figure it out, but I think this is gonna be a 2-part episode.
And it's
So
giving a come on back now. Because this is why when she was saying at the top of the episode, please just redo your nails. Please don't leave that junk on it. Hygiene wise, there have been so many times between the two of us where I'm like, I have to get these things off of me. There have been breakups I was in with the Taurus that I had that had his hampers in my house, hampers and drama and stress. So it was a time, y'all, the choices, but we give thanks for the way that has been healed and delivered. How did that boy Andrew say? I'm delivered. Like,
delivered. Yeah.
But I remember in that time period in my life, I was like, I have to get these off of me now. Like, I remember being like, I don't care. I'm gonna go. I need to go see. I need to just soak these off. I can't keep looking at these. Or, and also there were times like I came home from my assignment to spend your birthday out here, and I was getting my rebates, and our beloved, he was like, our beloved nail tech was like, I know that you got to go back, so I'm gonna just give you a new set. I'd rather give you a new set than send you out with a rebase, because you got more ahead of you. And there's something in the way of like, what was ahead of your girl?
He was
Like,
preparing you.
It was
For
a
things
word.
not yet seen. Okay,
For
he was
things not
getting
yet
you ready
seen. And also
to do
just like,
battle.
and having someone's, and I know I'm not trying to make this all deep or anything, but when you got someone sitting across from you and says, I see what might be coming at you, so let me go ahead and just like, let me help you get this right. There's something about being seen and being held and having that care being actually delivered for you is a form of love and care and community care and seeing you and showing up. And so, like, take care of your hands so you don't end up with no fungus on the physical plane, and also so you can get that energetic shit up off you. So you can get these things up off you. Again, taking care of your feet. Saturn is in Pisces. Pisces rules the feet. Saturn is the god of discipline, honey. Saturn is the consciousness of tasks and you will do this. Or so Saturn being in Pisces, maybe you just take care of your feet a little while longer. Please make sure you're getting pedicures. Make sure your feet had just soak them in some vinegar. You don't know what they didn't tell you to. Like, that's some hoodoo stuff. And that, and I'm not saying, like, remember your grandma used to sit with the white vinegar out and put it in a tub in a metal bin and sit there with her feet in it and then cool her off. And it's aside from, it's not just hoodoo. It's just a way of being. It's a practice, and it's
The
self-care,
detox.
literally. So
Yeah.
taking care of your feet in this season is going to be imperative.
But I think that your geo footprint from your Amazon cart is probably doing more damage to the earth than your fingernails. So
I'm not really helping the strike we're trying.
I don't want to split hairs here, but what I am saying is that if you prioritize yourself and you have access to expendable income, or you have the wherewithal to look at your budget and notice where you spend money mindlessly, consider what happens when you take money and spend it intentionally. And if you also have a strategy toward manifestation and creating a ritual for yourself, because again, do nothing without intention. Okay? Because if everything that you do is with intention, then every surface that you touch becomes an altar. My grandmother used to say, your body is a temple, and so you should treat it as such. She didn't think that we should get piercings or have tattoos, but I'm okay with adorning my temple. We enter the temple and we worship at the altar, is what a shaman told me once when he was trying to explain to me some untying from some soul ties that I'd had from intimate partner relationships. And he's like, you don't worship at the door of the temple, you worship at the altar. Who is permitted to stand at your altar? Are they prepared? Have they gone through the necessary protocol and preparation to come to the altar? And it made me think about, like, again, church girl, first Sundays, and my grandmother and grandfather were pastor and evangelist. So first Sundays, setting up the altar for communion. Not everybody could touch that altar. There was a whole nother special set of protocol that had to go into place before you could even come to that altar to help unfold the linens to put on it. The deacons had white gloves that were in boxes that they had to pull out to put on the white gloves before they could touch anything. So I don't know why that was in my spirit to share that with
It
y'all right
feels
now.
good, friend. It feels good. I like it. I don't
But
know. If you
if
watching this, you see me over here cutting up. I'm trying to be quiet because we talk. We got I got the download of, like, I'm trying not to do the catching it while you talk
well,
so they can hear you.
you done already preached. You done already preached. So I'm just coming in with a little word
Give us the
from
benediction.
for the benediction. I want you
Yes.
to know that yes, your body is a temple. You are the altar. Your womb, your insides, your soul, your spirit, your mind, the tenderest, most sensitive, delicate parts of you. Not everybody can come to your altar. Not everybody can touch your altar. Not everything can put things on your altar. Don't let people put stuff on your altar. It's yours.
It's yours.
And you get to determine what the protocol will be to allow someone to come with you to stand at that altar. How does this relate to your nails? I don't know. That's for you to determine. That's for you to decide. It makes a lot of sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, I'll keep you posted on what comes of the French manicure set, but I feel like the reclamation of just the witnessing myself and being able to experience it without having some association with this knucklehead that I was fucking with when I was 16 is like, what? Get free.
And
Like, free
also bring
yourself.
your heart back to be like, look what we did. Like
I
that.
just want to show you around, girl. Look, did you know that there's new shapes and now you don't have to get airbrush anymore? And we have money to spend on a hand painted French with this new shape. And we're going to go back to our house and talk to our best friend and, like, have a cozy look at all the things we have. We're great.
Like
Look what we did.
it's just so beautiful. So I'm looking forward to, I would really love to see at, like, next set full moon territory, because you are exiting. I think today we're in Aquarius Pisces space for the moon, but we
Yeah.
had a Sagittarius full moon on the 1st, or the 30th and the 1st. And she's going toward full, but you're still kind of in this territory of new, right? Of the new moon.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is as you take your beautiful Capricorn boundary nails with your connecting shape, with your V's, because you got a V-neck also. So as you take this in there,
Period.
I want the episode of what became of
Okay.
that
All right.
person.
So
I
for
personally desire.
posterity, we're recording
Yes.
today. Full moon says that the moon is waxing. It's waxing full. Like you said, it's in Aquarius today. It'll
Hey,
be
Lunar return.
it'll be full. Yes, look at that. It'll be full in 9 days. And the
Okay.
new
Well,
moon is in 24 days. So the next new moon is 24 days away. So by the next new moon,
okay.
I will see what we conjure in 24
Yeah.
days from now,
Let's do it.
which I think is January 6th. That's when Mercury comes out of retrograde, right? That's around
Yes.
the
And that's when I believe will be I don't know if Mars is done in in February or January. I can't recall. I needed to go sit with transits for a while. But you're right. And also, so like these are New Year's nails. It's really dope. I also want to shout you out for the invitation projector to do this with the bashful generator and doing this on my lunar return, which is nuts. I'm edifying. Like one day we'll break down what that means, but in the meantime, just know that this evening is very on purpose and it's very beautiful. But I really hope, I cannot wait for 24 days to see what becomes, because this is such a, you're inviting yourself out into the new world that you've created with boundaries and respect for yourself, is what your manicure says.
A wonderful way to distill what we have cooked up here today, what we concocted and then distilled to that. Yeah, I think that is very true of what I feel like is happening. So, friend, the
Love
people
you.
got a taste of the fact that we get to do this all the time, at least once a week, where we have a good old check-in and a kiki about many things. And we tried so hard, y'all, to stay on topic.
So hard. You have
It
no
was
idea.
it was so
None
hard.
of us.
I'm very grateful. I'm glad that you came today. I'm glad that we talked about onychomancy. I'm glad that we talked about healing and magic and you and just who you are. And I get to share my friendship with you and the listeners. What I want from the listeners is to invite them to follow you at Homegirl Oracle on Instagram, so that they can stay abreast of your readings, your lives, your offerings, the very real, authentic homegirl who is just going to tell you what the stars in the sky has to say about what you're going through without making you feel like you need to, take out a
Yeah.
small signature loan to to finance it.
I'll
You
even
know what I
help
mean?
you pick your set. I can help
You'll,
you. Not
she'll
a
help you.
game
Let me tell
set,
you
but a
something.
set.
No, you have helped me pick nail colors, designs, talked about like what you need to do, like which colors to pick, like if you're trying to get some money, call it green and gold, call in the money. Green. Put green on your nails. And it's a hard challenge because green doesn't look good on everybody's nails, but you
It did
know,
on yours that time. You made so much money that week.
I was
You
just
remember
one
that?
time I had like green and gold swirls on like
Yeah.
the edges and it worked. It was effective, but it was hard because I don't really like
It
green.
was, you thought they were so ugly. Sorry.
You know what? I don't like um pastel blue,
Mm,
like baby blue nails, even if they're like short. I feel like I just, it makes something about that color is like really deeply off putting when it's like that thick, like it almost looks like a crayon. It's like,
that's why. Because it looks like because when you were a child, you thought that when the wax was built up on the picture, it was tacky, and
all
someone did
right,
that to the sky, and you said it's too much.
it's too
The
much.
sky's taking so much
Scrape some
paper.
of that off. What are you doing?
What is
I don't
wrong
like
with
it.
you, Tyler?
I
Like,
don't
you know
know.
what I mean? Like,
I have
yeah,
some preferences. I have some things, like I said, I don't do sparkles or glitter. That's my style. That's my aesthetic. But I am also not here to yuck anybody else's yum. I think that all the girls are fly and I want you to feel as fly as you are. So whatever that takes, whatever you use in order to achieve that, I want you to understand that self-care is not, it is in fact an act of uh, uh, political warfare because it is self-preservation in a system that is designed to take us off the planet and to use and discard us, whether or not we're consuming or producing. And our value is much more real than that. And I love what you said earlier about the the communal component of us in an ecosystem taking care of each other. This kind of like mycelium network of like the woman Lynn who did my nails tonight. This woman, well into her 70s, she's been doing this for 40 years. Like, I was like, Lynn, thank you so much for doing such an amazing job. I
the
really
levels
appreciate your work.
of
You know what I mean?
intentionality are nuts here.
Like me going to get my nails done in this place, like this, thankful that the place exists, that the people showed up, that it's a nice, it's pleasant, that it's Come on.
And it's, the place look good. I think what it means to have, you've had such an on purpose evening. That's nuts to me. It's so cool. And I'm just grateful. I want to say thank you for inviting me today. It was
I'm
so
so glad
cool.
that we finally did this. You know, the podcast. So Erica has been encouraging me to just press record and do the podcast for, I would say, the better part of 4 years. Definitely since the pandemic. I have done everything but this.
And that's okay.
I've been on the radio. I did television. I've done other podcasts. I've been a guest on other people's podcasts. I started another podcast with another person. I stopped doing that podcast. I started this and then stopped again. And
We back,
you
y'all.
have encouraged me this entire time. And we have finally, out of all the conversation that we have had, that we needed to press record, we just did it. And I'm so grateful. I love you so much, friend.
I love you more. I love you so
All right,
much.
y'all. So this is the outro. I need you to like the podcast. I need you to subscribe for new episodes, please. And I'd also really like for you to write a review because, as it turns out, that really helps in boosting the podcast to make it visible for people to find it. And I don't really do a lot of promotion for the podcast on social media because it doesn't translate. Most Instagram people are not necessarily podcast people. So if you are a podcast people, review the podcasts that you like and rate them so that more podcast people can find the podcast. And then, you know, it doesn't feel like we're just yelling into an abyss. But for those of you who are listening, thank you for the ways that you reach out and let me know that you like it. Keep coming back. I'm here every week. And until next time, be light and continue to shine. And I'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.